prepared based on the conversation I had with Senator Black at the conclusion of the hearing, which I thought might alleviate the concerns that he had. He's not here right now.
Is there a motion to adopt the substitute? Properly moved and seconded, substitute consent bill 1103, the report of the adopted on page aye.
This committee, this approach, this substitute basically takes a different approach to the same problem. And basically what this, the bill that was before you that the subcommittee heard said that if there's a closed meeting and there's things talked about in a closed meeting that shouldn't have been, and people vote to certify that meeting, that a judge could fine each of them $500 if they voted incorrectly. What this does, some people are uncomfortable with the fact that there's a strict liability standard, that is, didn't require knowing and willful violation. People sometimes say things in meetings unintentionally and that they didn't want people stumbling into a $500 fine. So what this says, and I think Senator Black agreed with the approach, although I wish he was here, is that every time there's a closed meeting, the entity that's having a closed meeting is required to make an audio recording of the meeting. That recording is then stored for 5 years. And then if any dispute later arises about whether or not there were extraneous matters that were discussed, a judge can then go and review that recording to determine whether or not a violation occurred. And then I made it knowing and willful violation, like for existing FOIA violations, so that somebody would have to show that the person that violated it was a knowing and intentional violation, and not just somebody slipped up at a meeting and brought up, oh, by the way, so-and-so died in the middle of a closed hearing or something. Got unintentional, made an unintentional violation. So that was the approach that I took, and it's much less harsh and strict than the approach that the committee heard. And having said that, I think I hope the committee would support it. I can get into more about my reasons for it and everything as well. I'm trying to keep it short.
Since there is a fair, yes.
Mr. Chairman, are we going to do questions of the patron at this time or later?
Because the substitute is fairly different than the original bill, yes.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senator Surovell, Mr. Chairman, my question for Senator Surovell would be, what's the pay of a supervisor in Fairfax County?
$95,000 a year for a mainline member, and I think it's $105 for the chairman.
So $500 might still be significant to them, but not a whole lot. Do you know what the salary is in Northampton County?
Probably a few $1,000s.
I believe it's $2,000. In Floyd County, which I serve, I think it's increased slightly, but according to the state document, it was $4,100. So what we're essentially saying is, even though in Fairfax it might actually be a bigger penalty because more people would be, or a bigger offense because more people would be involved in not having the information, but we're disproportionately hitting these folks that serve on these rural boards with smaller populations and the smaller salaries. And then that's one of the issues I've got with this.
Is that a question?
No.
Is that correct?
Yeah, the center staff was, isn't that right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You want to respond to that?
Sure. I'll just point not to argue against my own bill, but I mean, there are all kinds of public entities where people don't get paid anything that has closed meetings. And the point of this legislation is to incentivize people to stick to what they're supposed to talk about in a closed meeting. Because I haven't talked to a single person that served in local government who said that they were not in a closed meeting where matters were discussed that are outside the scope of what they told the public they were going to talk about. And I think violations are happening all over the place, and I want to properly incentivize people to vote correctly, to certify correctly, to only talk about things in closed meetings that they've told the public they're going to talk about. And I just think this orients the incentives to the right place, because right now, there's virtually no consequence for breaking the law. There's absolutely no consequence, except maybe a bad press story if somebody figures it out. But I think there needs to be more incentives so that the incentives are the right.
I hate to open it back up, but since it's different, anyone here who wishes to speak, and opposition to the substitute?
I was prepared to speak to the bill that was in subcommittee. This is a completely different concept. This bill adds in recording closed meetings, which is a very controversial concept, one that has failed the last few years. I think I can speak to that. It has a chilling effect on the body to have to record, but also on the original bill, which is what I came here prepared to speak on. Basically, I think the penalties in the statute are adequate. They're not used that often as it is, so why we're creating all these other gotchas when people don't use the penalties that are already there. I think this goes way too far. I'm gonna oppose the old and the new section.
Old is off the table. Thank you. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, very quickly, Mark Fennell on behalf of Prince William County, and is concerned about the last part of it, where if one member knows that they're violating the law, everybody gets a penalty. It's sort of like if one member of a committee did something wrong, everybody gets a penalty. I think that's really inappropriate. That's what
Anyone else wish to speak in opposition? Anyone wish to speak in support of the substitute? Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Ashley Mixon with the Virginia Press Association. We supported the previous bill and we support this also. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak in opposition?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Megan Ryan with the Virginia Coalition for Open Government, and we support the substitute, in particular the part about recording minutes. This is something that we as an organization have advocated for a number of years now because we feel that it is a guard against, it's a protection both for members of the public and for members of that public body. Should there be a problem, these are recordings that are not meant to be public records that should be disclosed upon request, but only in the event that there is a dispute and a judge can hear it so they can decide for themselves what happened. Thanks.
Thank you. Well,
Mr. Chairman, I'll try to make this quick. My name is Marisa Porto. I'm the Daily Press Media Group publisher, and I'm also a member of the FOIA Council. I support this bill. I will say, from my publisher's hat, that it happens routinely that things are discussed behind closed doors that shouldn't be. We just recently had one incident in Newport News. I would ask you if you would consider this bill and please consider to support it. Thank you.
thank you. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman? Yes, I could. I mean, I like the concept of open government, but in section, I guess it's I, maybe it is, the part about how you have to record the meetings of a closed session. In my experience, sometimes you discuss employee salary and contracts, is that right?
Yes.
So then you'd be recording the discussion of an employee's salary and contracts and then presumably turning it over to another employee of the organization, or someone going to take that home with them?
Probably the county attorney, the city attorney. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have another question. Who's to bear the cost of all the storage of these? As I look over the document again and see that it appears the vast majority of our supervisors throughout the Commonwealth are paid less than $10,000 and would be open to this significant fine considering how much they're paid. Who is to pay for the storage of this?
Well, I
In
think,
these small localities that don't have as much resources as Fairfax County.
Mr. Chairman, I think the question presupposes that there is a cost. And I would note for the gentleman that at least I've been recording my trials that I conduct in court myself using my cell phone for probably about the last 5 years. I simply download the file and stick it on my hard drive at the office. It isn't that expensive. And to record audio files and save them on a hard drive. So, but to the extent there might be a cost, it would fall on the local government.
All right, no further questions. I'm concerned about recording information with the affairs of someone or messed up with something. So, is there a motion?
got